Okay, the next word is chitta. Chitta refers to the mind stuff. This is the biggest difference, I would say, between Eastern psychological thought and Western thinking. In the East, the mind is made of matter, subtle matter. In the West, we think of the mind as conscious. Okay? In the East, the mind is built from the subtle portion of food that you eat. In the Chandogya Upanishad, it says 3 levels are found in food. The grossest level of food gets eliminated as waste. The middle level of food builds the body. The most subtle level of food actually builds your mind. We say we are what we eat. It's true, not only physically, but mentally as well. So the chitta, our mind stuff, is the sum total of the mind. There are 3 levels within it: manas, buddhi, and ahamkara. The manas is the emotional, sensory motor, instinctual, habit-based part of the mind. It gathers information and then it organizes action. That's the manas. What is of particular importance to yogis is the next level, the buddhi. This is the higher mind, where the intellect resides, that analyzes, discriminates, discerns, and decides. When you practice, when you begin to start examining your life, when you begin to take back your freedom and start exercising choice as you walk through life, in effect, you're developing the buddhi. The buddhi is the only faculty that can make choices and decisions that can propel you on a path of greater growth. It gains the capacity to separate from the manas, the emotional, instinctive, habit-driven part of the mind, and make decisions that bypass past programming. For me, the Yoga Sutras, spiritual life is all about freedom, true freedom. We may think we're free, but when you really examine yourself inwardly, you can see how much that is not the case. What binds us? Our desires, our fears, our emotions, our false identifications. The whole idea is to make good choices such that you regain inner mastery and live your life so you can ultimately be free of all that binds you. True freedom, that means peace, joy. Everything you think of when you imagine the divine, all the great qualities, power, beauty, light, wisdom, compassion, strength, all those qualities reside in us, as us, in truth. They're just covered over. The idea is to free ourselves. Swami Satchidananda used to say, originally you're fine, then you got defined. And the whole purpose of spiritual life is to refine yourself to get back to your original fineness. All the spiritual practices that we do are none other than soaps. Soaps to clean the body, soaps to clean the mind. Okay? Makes sense? That's Buddhi. Ahamkara is the basic mind, the I feeling. Ahamkara is what enables you to perceive yourself as a separate entity. You own the experiences that are occurring rather than just be part of a flow. It's your sense of separate identity. So, how is this helpful? Knowing that, if you wish, you can become aware of those different levels of the mind as you move through life. If you are aware, it opens up a window where you can make choices. And if you can make choices, you can make new choices. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example of something I experienced many, many years ago, before I was even much into yoga. I was living in New York City. I'm going to work downtown. One morning, I'm in a rush, and I'm walking down the street quickly. My nose goes, and the next minute I have an éclair in my mouth. No conscious memory of how any of that happened. I'm rushing down the street, and then the éclair is in my mouth, and I remember nothing intervening. You're laughing. Have you experienced something similar? And you know, there are certain type bakeries, they blow the fragrance out. Do they still do that? They blow, and they open the doors, and you walk right in. So it seemed like walking éclair. But really, there was a whole manas buddhi Ahamkara process going on inside there. The senses were going out, olfactory sense, going out through the nose, gathering those delicious odors, and then they were being recorded on the manas. The manas acts like a screen. The manas presents it to the buddhi, these smell sensations, okay? Then the buddhi reacts, and it starts asking the questions, rapid fire inside, when, where, why, what, how, what's going on here? And then it makes a decision. And in my case, well, we're on 5th Avenue and 72nd Street, and this is where your favorite bakery is, and it's Tuesday. That's when they bake the éclairs and get the éclair. And then my Ahamkara is there. I'm enjoying the éclair. And I had nothing to say about it. The point here is, and this is a very important point about spiritual life, new people, especially enthusiastic, zealous beginners, get very uptight about their practice. And they become very austere and strict in the name of doing what's beneficial. They have a list of shoulds that could circle the globe. Spiritual practice is not about denial. It's about regaining choice as a pathway to freedom. It doesn't mean you don't eat éclairs. What it means is you do it consciously. That's the difference, and it makes all the difference in the world. And I would say also, I'll go further, if you're a spiritual seeker, take a pen and cross out the word should. Wherever you have I should, and change it to I choose. All the difference in the world. Instead of being a victim of some unknown moralistic system, you are empowered as to your own well-being. All the difference in the world. Okay, that's the basic mind. So the chitta, the mind is unconscious. It's material. The only thing conscious in Eastern psychology is yourself. It's the light of consciousness, the light of the divine within you. Think of a full moon night. You go outside, you look at the moon. If you don't know any better, you can conclude the moon is shining. Is the moon shining? What is it doing? It's reflecting the light of the sun. Only the sun can shine. The moon has a borrowed light. Okay? Exactly analogously. The only thing shining, the only thing conscious within you is the self, your true nature. The mind is like the moon. It reflects the light of the self, and then it thinks it's conscious. The mind's a tricky fellow. A tricky fellow. The ego, tricky, takes everything as its own. Okay? Makes sense? Okay.